welcome to another episode of the Engine Room Chat. For those of you who are here for the very first time, the Engine Room Chat is designed to have an open dialogue with the developer. I have the legendary Bearlike with me in the studio, so we're going to be asking some questions, and we're going to find out the state of the game, and also how we can better support the gameplay experience from the developer's point of view. We've just watched an amazing Mag 1 finals, and we heard some even more amazing stuff from Yes Win Big at the end of that final. So we're definitely looking forward to touch on a little bit of that. And of course, we are about 3 days away till the end of season 3, and we, from the last couple episodes of the Engine Room Chat, Bearlike has given us a little bit of a sneak peek about what's to come, and we're going to also question him on those. So first of all, welcome Bearlike. Welcome to another episode. How are you doing?
Hi. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Got a relaxed Sunday.
Relax on that's
and
good.
Also, just watched awesome tournament.
Nice. For those of you that missed some of the games, I'm actually just going to put on the game on replay here as a bit of a background distraction where we are going to get into the questions. Let's talk about season 4, right? The creator embargo was lifted yesterday, so we already seen some creators posting videos about what is changing in season 4, and one of the bigger changes is the mountain that is coming into the 1v1 and the 2v2. So for those of you that don't know about the mountain, it is a massive Titan-sized class unit that has been in the free-for-all games, but now is, they're coming into the serious competitive scene. So question for Bearlike, what is the idea behind this change? And which role do you see the mountain fit? Because obviously FFA and 1v1, they are very different beasts.
Yeah, so for mountain, it starts like a fun unit. The idea behind the mountain is like we just want the biggest, baddest robot in the game. It should look like a mountain coming to you and can take tons of damage, and also can have multiple cannons and can shoot very far, like have the longest range in the game, also have the best armor in the game. So it was a fun unit, and we wasn't planning to balance it for 1v1s. It's just a fun unit for the 4-player brawl. It was a fun unit for 4-player brawl, but after a while, after we testing more and tweak it more, we actually found like mountain actually is very fun in 1v1 mode. Like in competitive mode, mountain is provides like a very unique function to the board, and also very fun to play. I think mountain is my favorite Titan, and possibly like my favorite unit right now. Just because I don't know why, but it's extremely fun to play the mountain. It's like much more fun than Abyss. Like Abyss was fun, but for me, the mountain, the one unit that has the best armor and the longest range and lots of damage, that's the one I really, really like. And it actually have very interesting interactions with other units. So that's why like we just think mountain is too fun to not be in the 1v1 mode. So we tweak some tech of it and tweak the stats, and then just bring it into the 1v1 mode. Yeah.
And during the testing, and of course the unit is not going to be out until Tuesday, but what is your favorite way of playing the mountain right now?
My favorite actually is like go for the longest range. Like I have some crazy game. I put a mountain behind the tower and level up the tower to tank the damage, and the mountain just have 300 range and attacking all kind of stuff. It is very fun. I even when I lost with the mountain, the sun somehow the sun 300 range just make it very interesting. It's like watching like a battleship. Like yeah.
Yeah, and just to add a bit of context, so for mountain, it has a 100-meter range. It has a tech called I think it was the extended range. I can't remember the exact name, but it
Yeah.
has 160 meters. And then it has another tag
Yeah.
called Saturation Fire that adds another
Yeah.
40 meters. So you can
Yeah.
technically bring mountain up to 300 meters of range. And give you an idea, a 300-meter range mountain shoots where this Phoenix is right now on screen, and it hits that
Yeah.
arc light in front of the opponent's
Yeah.
tower. So that's how far a 300 range mountain is going to shoot, and it's gonna be some crazy new meta um, that's coming into this. Now, another question about the mountain. In the past, every time there's a new unit, I've always asked the question, what inspired you to create this unit? I remember the Abyss. You said it was from the Hakonnen gunship or the battleship that
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the Doom series.
Yeah.
Now, which
Yeah.
pop culture reference did you use for the mountain?
Well, is there not exactly a pop culture reference? It's just we want the biggest robots in the game. We want a very, very big robots with many guns. And that's the idea. So it has to have more weapons than any other unit, and it has to be like taller than any other units. Yeah, that's
Nice.
the that's the goal there. Yeah.
Nice. We'll look at Fortress. It's like, it's not, there's not enough guns. Let's double the number of
Yeah.
guns on a Fortress.
Yeah, Fortress is not big enough.
Now, moving on from Mountain, another unit that's getting some special attention this season is that the Farseer. It is now officially
Yeah.
graduated from the rare unit roster, and now you can unlock them as a standard unit. Now,
Yeah.
first of all, any comments on Farseer being standard?
Yeah, this we have planned this for a really long time. Faster is like because for example the Maston have one of the most used unit in the game. One is because Maston is like pretty good. The other reason is like there's no alternative to Maston. There's no other options that can protect your flank and also do very good anti-air damage and like good against wasp stuff. So we always want like another anti-air option that is quick. So Faster fits that role very well. But in the past, like their Faster is missing missing a damage tag, and also Faster has been like a little bit too strong. So this time we nerfed Faster a little, and also add a burst mode tag to it, so it can like kill larger unit. But if you tag that tag, Faster will be like much weaker against chaff. This way, I think we gave Faster enough roles. Like it can be a chaff killer, it can be a damage dealer, and it can be a support unit. But it cannot be all of that at the same time. So that's what we have in mind. So also like Fastier's attack interval is was increased from 1.6 second to 2.0 second. That will make Fier like have much less damage and be worse against chaff, but with longer attack interval, Fier actually will not attack already dead unit. Like before, if you give Fier range attack, it will attack the wasp, and even when because the missile travels so long, so the second volley of the missile will be launched to already dead wasp. With a longer attack interval, this will not happen anymore. So basically, Fier is like gonna feel a lot different in season 4.
Nice. I'm looking forward to play Farseer. Now, speaking of rare units, do you have an idea when the other two rare units, the Typhoon and the Fire Badger, will also graduate from the rare roster?
We do plan to bring them into the core roster, and we are currently in the process of making the new model of Firebagger. We want to change its look a bit, like make it look like well, you will see. We want to change the
You will see.
just look a little bit, but once the model is done, we will move Firebagger to the core unit roster, and also in the process we will change Firebagger a lot. Firebagger will receive 2 new tech. Both are like both are triggered by getting attacked. Basically, Firebagger is gonna be an angry unit,
Like a berserker Fire Badger.
Yeah, it's like if he lost certain percentage of his HP, it will trigger something. If he gets attacked by some other unit, it will trigger something. All that stuff is like a very angry unit. That's the plan for Firebadger. For Typhoon, that's it's much more trickier. We want to do a Typhoon remake for a very, very long time, but we just have not figured out how to change Typhoon. So it will well, I think eventually we will find a way, but right now we haven't figured out how to change the Typhoon so it can be a core unit yet. Yeah.
Yeah, the mechanic of increasing or having some stats change due to damage or self HP loss, that's super interesting. I mean, I hope that one day the Rhino will get the similar treatment. In fact, we already have the Berserk Rhino card that's in the game, but maybe we can change that card to be really a Berserk Rhino card. Very cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We are planning to do Rhino remake, but that unit we need to add building into the game first, then we can remake Rhino. Yeah.
Let's talk about the buildings. I know this has been a huge project for the team for the last 2 months. So where are we in the buildings? What can you tell us, and when can we expect them?
Yeah, so buildings. So I want to set the expectation on buildings. So basically, it is called buildings. Right now there are cannons, machine guns, and defensive walls, all that stuff. But you cannot build them freely. They are basically part of the map. We can consider them as a terrain feature. So basically, it's part of the map. So in the past, because there is no defensive buildings, so the left side of the map and the right side of the map, they are just the same. And this makes predicting enemy unit position on round 1 very, very hard. And this also makes aggro on round 1 too much a problem. That's why we have to push the deployment zone a little bit on round 1. So by adding building to the map, we wish we can actually add those space of the deployment area back, and also because there are buildings on the map, and so basically we have this terrain feature. Then we want to make. I think it's gonna be easier for the players to predict and anticipate where the enemy gonna be placing their units. So round 1, there gonna be much more strategy on round 1 and less chance and luck. Because right now, if you guess the right direction your enemy gonna attack on round 1, you will have a very big advantage. But if you guess wrong, then you will have a big disadvantage. We want to reduce that part. We want give round 1 more strategy. That's why we are adding buildings. So basically, they are not the traditional RTS buildings. Basically, you can consider them as part of the terrain.
Okay. A few questions. One, can buildings be destroyed? And if they do get destroyed, are they destroyed permanently or do they come back next round?
Right now, we are testing all kinds of different setup. One, that building can be destroyed, and also they will come back next round. But we are experimenting with this duration. Not duration, yeah. Durability? Yeah, we are experimenting with the durability feature where if your building gets destroyed 5 times, it will disappear. This way you will have more space in later round, and also if your building gets destroyed, finally gets totally destroyed, you probably can also receive some supply from that destroyed buildings. So this way, the building will be a big part of the earlier round game, but it will not a big part of the later round game, because in later round the board is already established, and so the building can finally retired. We are not sure about it yet, but right now we are experimenting it. Our fallback plan is just make the building never make the building always come back. That's a fallback plan, but we are testing with durability plan too.
Yeah. Another question, and this one is from chat, and the question is, are buildings going to be different for different map? Are these maps specific, or can we have buildings or different building setups for the same map? So for example, I'm in Forest Eye. Is that always going to be the same building setup? So it's essentially part of the map, or is there going to be multiple variations of buildings for Forest Eye? So they're map independent.
Yeah, I think there will be multiple building setup for each map. We are still testing them, and we are likely to add more setup to the game. So you will always have this different feeling of the game, because of the building layout, you may choose different strategy. We want to gradually add more and more building setup to the game. Right now, it is not tied to the map, but maybe in the future. But right now, in our internal testing, the building setup is not tied to maps, but there are multiple building setups.
Okay. Just have a few more questions on buildings because it's so interesting. One other question is, does the building take up a space in the middle of the map. So for example, unit will have to adjust its pathing and it will block certain things, or our buildings just kind of things on the edge of the map. For example, if you have cannons, so that's essentially like additional firepower.
Yeah, it's in the right in your
Like deployable.
deployment.
Okay.
Yeah, the zone. Yeah, it's like it can block your position. Like the walls gonna like the walls will retract to the ground if when your unit like working when your unit works close to them, so it will not block your unit from working. It will block the enemy unit, but it will not block the walls will not block friendly unit, and the cannons. Right now, our setup is like there's multiple building like near your tower. Right now, they are all like pretty close to your tower stuff, but we are still experimenting with the layout. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, when can we expect buildings?
Right now, we are expecting to release the building with the mid-season patch, the 1.7 patch. So for season 4, there like any other season, there will be two major patch, 1.6 patch at the start of the season, and 1.7 patch at the mid of the season. Right now, our plan is release the buildings at the mid-season patch. But I have to say the buildings are very tricky to make, and we need a lot of tests for it. There's like a lot of things we are not certain about. I think overall building is a much like a very good addition to the game, but we need to do it right. So there is a chance that building gets delayed to like season 5. But right now we are aiming for season 4 mid-season release.
Mid-season. So we're talking maybe like 30, 50 days down the road.
Yeah, it's basically 35 days. Basically, it's always 6 weeks, 35 days. Yeah.
Okay. And with that first rollout of building, because you mentioned there's some damage dealers and there may be some
Yeah.
buff debuff. What can you tell us about like what are some of the building types that's going to be included in the first rollout?
Yeah, there's just right now we only have 4 different buildings. Just a big damage dealer, a cannon that hits very hard, and then a chaff clear auto machine gun, and 2 different type of walls. That's what we got right now. In the future, we are expecting adding more buildings to the game, but right now we want to like make it work with those 4 basic buildings. Yeah.
Nice. Well, looking forward to it, and I'm sure the QA team is also looking forward to it because this is a very drastic change to the game mechanics. So we definitely want to see how everybody feels about
So
that.
it definitely have
It's a huge
very
impact.
decent chance gets delayed. Yeah.
So yeah,
It's very possible it gets delayed. So yeah.
full disclaimer for those that are watching this chat: don't be upset if it gets
Yeah.
delayed because this is a big change to the way that Mechabellum is
Yeah.
played. All right, well, switching out of buildings, I got a few more questions about what's coming up in season 4 and beyond. The first question, we talk about the lore a little bit. I think was the 2 episodes ago. You mentioned it is written, it is in Chinese. We got a draft somewhere on your desk, and you've read it and you liked it. How are we doing with the lore?
Well, not that much. We still haven't figured out a way to like share the law with all the players. I don't like just release the law as just some stories. I think a law of a video game should like have its unique format, not just like a novel or something. It should have unique ways to tell the story. Like the video game should have its own way to tell the stories. Right now we haven't found it yet, but there are all kinds of different experiment and attempt, and some of them are promising, but I don't think there's much there to share yet. But the thing is, we are working on the law. Yes.
Nice. All right. Is there anything else for season 4 that you would like to tell us?
Season 4. Well, for season 4, at the next week's patch, the 1.6 patch, other than the mountain change, faster change, there are also gonna be new music. Like the music was supposed to come out last season, but on season 3, but it gets delayed. But it's finally ready. It will be released next week. The new music, and it is very different. So I do ask people to have more patience and listen to it a little bit more before you pass a judgment on those music. And personally, I like those music a lot. And aside from the music, there I think you guys will see one of the biggest balance change to Mechabellum next week. It's basically because finally we have a patch where we do not add new unit into the game. So we want to take this chance to addressing multiple balance issue. So because if we add a new unit into the game, all our effort have to revolve around that new unit. Right. So this time, finally, although there's a mountain and Fier, but they are not completely new. So we finally have the chance to do a balance overhaul, and that's what we are doing next week. So a lot of change to not not necessarily big change, but we just want to make the all the not that hot tag and card be more viable. There's lots of tag in Mechabellum, but a lot of them rarely see play. So we want to make the less played tag more viable in next patch. Yeah.
Nice. Well, looking forward to it. And question on the music, would there be a separate music when the timer goes down to 15 seconds just to let people know that they're almost out of time?
I know, but no, I think we already have the clock tick.
The beeping.
Yes. Yeah. Also, the music gonna become tenser when the timer is closer. So yeah, but we do have different music track for different round. For earlier round, there's 3 different track. Well, 3 different track for different phase of the game. So there's early round music track and mid round music track, and there are music track that only kick in when the game gets very intense. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Looking forward to that. I have a bunch of questions from the community. And the first category is on competitive play. And I think this is highly relevant since we've just witnessed probably one of the best Mag 1 finals in recent memory. First question, I think, what are some future plans maybe you're cooking up with the team for tournaments? So right now we got 3 sets of tournaments, with the 2v2 being the newest. Are you happy with them? And is there anything else that you're cooking up with the team regarding tournaments that is built into the game?
Um, so tournaments, well, um, in season 4, there gonna be a community tournament page inside of the game. So where we will have display different community tournaments and also have link uh, to their website, all that stuff. So you can check out what community tournament is going on at what time. So that's gonna be in the season 4 patch. It all the tournament will not be there at day one. It's like we after we release the patch and we will like you if you are a tournament organizer, you can contact the Discord admins to add your tournament into the game. So you will have your tournaments displayed inside the game and all the links, all that stuff. So this is our way to encourage the community tournaments thing to give them more exposure and make them feel like more legit, all that stuff. That's our first step. There are other stuff like come to into the game to support more community tournaments in the future. Yeah, but it's a slow process. We are doing it one feature at a time. Right now, my biggest focus actually is the buildings. It's like it is fun, but it's very tricky to pull off.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes. Nice. Speaking of tournaments, there is a phenomena in just,
yeah,
I think it's more prevalent in like weekend tournaments where players go in and they lose their first game and then they abandon because sometimes they just want to get into like top five, and by losing the first
yeah,
game they don't feel like it's worth their while. I wonder
yeah,
if there's any ideas. So I have a few ideas from the community that
yeah,
maybe I'll toss it over to you, and
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see if any of these stick. Um,
yeah.
First of all, do you think that's a problem? Like, player coming, and then by round two, we have like 30 players that's already abandoning a tournament. Is that a problem, or is that more just how these tournaments work?
I think it's for me. It's not necessarily a problem. The in-game tournaments are designed uh, to like make it possible for you to abandon the tournament after one game and well also not impact other players' experience. So we do think that players will have like emergencies and also they may just only want to play 1 or 2 round of the tournament unless they are like winning a lot. I think like generally I have this feeling like I want them to do what they want because different people have different needs and they can also have like real life responsibilities and all that stuff. So I think it's okay to abandon the tournament after whatever round. But I do think give more reward for the in-game tournaments is also a good idea. It's like I think it's okay for you to abandon the tournament, but I do want to like also want to make player feel good if they stick with the tournament for longer time. So,
Mhm.
but we need to strike balance here. We
Yeah.
do not want player feel that they are forced to complete the tournament.
Mhm.
So, but other than that, I'm not against like encouragement for in-game tournaments. Yeah,
Awesome. I think giving the little extra on top of
yeah,
just a badge at the end because you have to have placement. I think it's a great
yeah,
idea because sometimes, especially for new players, they might get a little discouraged. But there's a lot to be learned in tournament. I remember when I was starting Mechabellum, I learned most of the higher level strategies just by playing in tournament and losing to some of the better players. So I definitely love that idea.
Yeah.
Speaking of tournament, right now there's one game mode that does not have a in-game tournament, and that is the FFA mode. Do you think the FFA mode will have a tournament in the future?
Maybe. Right now we don't have a plan for it. Uh, right now I think I'm a FFA is like it's a fun mode. It's not very competitive. Um, so that's why we didn't give it a tournament. But in the future, maybe if the player base is large enough and there are a big enough player base play FFA, then sure we can have like FFA tournaments. Also, like I do believe like maybe community FFA tournaments gonna happen first, and if there's enough interest for the FFA tournaments, we will add like official in-game FFA tournaments. But right now we don't really have a plan for that yet.
Nice. So we did have the Quackquo Carnage back in February that was specifically designed for FFA, and we love to have more. And it, truth to be told, even
Yeah,
though it is the fun mode, it is
yeah,
more intense than your sometimes your 1v1s. We have some players that take FFA very seriously. So I definitely
yeah,
would
yeah,
love to see more. And also, it's just a very different game, I feel, right? From 1v1. The way that people think is
yeah,
very different. The meta is very different. And a lot of
yeah,
it has to do with how do you bait your neighbor into either attacking you or not attacking you, right?
yeah,
It's there's almost a
yeah,
meta layer. There's the gameplay, and then there's the meta of the psychology that you get to manipulate all your neighbors
yeah,
and your crossbow players,
yeah.
and that's super fun to watch too. Um,
I
so
think there's a social aspect
oh, for sure,
of that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we'll definitely love to see more of that. Um,
Yeah.
Another idea, and this is brand new idea. Um,
Yeah.
is a idea of a puzzle tournament. So in right now in Mechabellum, we have the challenge session where players are challenged to going and solve a particular board, right? This is the community challenge. So the idea is, what if we
Yeah.
turn community challenge into a tournament? Everybody have the same amount of time to solve a determinate amount of puzzles, and every time you get, for every puzzle you get 3 tries, and then we tally up the points at the very end and see who solves the puzzles the fastest and also with more units left over. What do you think of that idea?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and we have some thinking on the consecutive challenges, give 10 challenge to you to see uh how many challenge you can beat, like out of those 10 and all that stuff. I think offer multiple challenges to challenge level to players can be a very fun mode. And we haven't considered a tournament for that, but I think something like we will like I will discuss more with my team about this idea. I do think there is potential for that to be a really fun mode, and maybe there's gonna be a tournament, but maybe it's not a tournament. But yeah, I do think the challenge levels are like there are many players like the challenge levels, so we should do something about it. Yeah,
Hmm. Nice. I'm always looking for
yeah,
variety. All right, last idea, and
yeah,
I promise this
yeah,
last idea about tournaments or gameplay.
uh,
Um,
yeah,
if you're looking at chess, right? So first of all, the challenge was
yeah,
also something that we taken from chess. Another very famous way to play chess differently is the blitz mode, where you're giving extreme
Yeah.
time pressure. Sometimes you get 3 minutes on the clock for each players on the chess, right? So what if we do that for Mechabellum? Right now we have, I can't remember, it's like 120 seconds. But what if we give
Yeah.
each player only 20 seconds per round to play and
Yeah.
see what happens? So not a tournament idea, maybe something that we can include in custom game mode where you can just
Timer.
adjust the timer. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We should add like a custom timer to custom games. Like not just for blitz mode and also for like if you have a friend that's new to the game and you can like give him more time to think. So I think add a custom timer to the game is like very good. So it will be a feature. Um, so we have been like adding new people to our team. So and there are gonna be like tester a dedicated tester are gonna come to the team next week, and also we add a new project manager to the team like 3 weeks ago. So all of this like quality of life features, I think will be adding to the game like more frequent in the future. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. It's all good news. And thank you,
yeah,
of course, for constantly looking out for what the community wants
yeah,
and getting the right people in place. All right, we're gonna
yeah.
get out of the tournament talk and we're gonna talk a little bit more on gameplay and balance. So I had a few questions on that in that particular department. Earlier, well, not earlier, last time you mentioned, the Void Eye is probably going to be the last unit, at least for the time being, for new units, and then you'll be turning your attention into improving existing units and also building out technologies. So I'm just curious, what are some of the focus that you have right now with units or technologies?
Um, right now it's basically it's mountain Fier and Firebger and Typhoon. Those are my focus, and basically we want bring all rare units uh, into the core roster, so there will be no so all the 4 rare units will no longer be rare unit. Um, and like I said before, we are having some trouble with Typhoon. We haven't figured out how to change Typhoon. We are not very happy with Typhoon, but we don't really know how to change it yet. But
Why are
yeah,
you
that's
unhappy with it?
right now Typhoon is very snowball units. It's basically have a similar attack pattern as Mustang. So Typhoon is very strong if it have levels and have equipment. If you have item and levels, it will be very strong. That's why Typhoon don't even have a range attack because it's very snowbally, and that's what we don't really like it. Um, and like if you are not snowballing with Typhoon, then Typhoon is very weak. Uh, then also all Typhoon's tech is very snowbally. Like all its tech is stronger with like on a higher level Typhoon. So that's why we think that Typhoon is not like deserve the spotlight yet. But we are working on it. We are working on it, and once we figure out how to make it less snowball unit, then we will like move it into the core unit roster. A set of units, there are entire like range of tag and item that we are experimenting. Those are like basically those are drones and drones item or tag, basically like for your Master squad, you will have like add 3 drones to that Master squad to like say extinguish fire, or maybe like do something like repair different stuff, all that stuff. So the drones can be very diverse. Like it can maybe can do missile interceptions. Maybe they can fix and repair units. Maybe they can add more range to your unit, all that stuff. But so basically, those drone item or tag can make the unit tech much more diverse. That's what we are experimenting. Right now, we haven't figured out the exactly logic for all those drones. What should the drone follow? What unit? And how it follows those units. What if the drones are being following just died, and then what happens? All that stuff we haven't figure those all out, but we are experimenting with those, and yeah.
Wow. And this is a brand new topic here. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
probably not going to drill
That's
too
like
hard into it.
even
Yeah.
yeah. That's even like more far away than buildings.
But that's a worthy topic, which, because you mentioned this
Yeah.
is not going to be a technology, this is rather just going to be an item, right?
Yeah, it can like both item and technology can it can be like for example, there's this idea of like a sentry missile item. When you equip this item, add 2 sentry missile following you.
Just
There are gonna
following
be
you
2 sentry
around.
missile follow you around, and this can also be attack. Like we are not sure about it yet. I think like this kind of stuff can be attack all item. It's all viable, I think.
Nice. I mean, that's a whole nother dimension, I feel, of
Yeah.
Mechabellum. Now, speaking of items, I have a few super vanilla um,
Yeah.
comments. One is the item on fire extinguisher, because right now there's only one unit that can extinguish fire, which is the hound, and
Yeah.
sometimes players don't
Yeah.
want to use the hound solely for that purpose. So the question
Yeah.
is, will there be a fire extinguisher item, or are you thinking of adding fire extinguisher to more units as a technology?
Um, I think a fire extinguisher item can be good. Um, right now we are not adding any fire extinguisher tech to any other unit other than Hound, but yeah, maybe I understand that many people hate fire, and we are like a lot of stuff are has to happen after the buildings. Like after buildings, we will have like a better idea to understand what's the role of role of fire extinguisher, the role of aggro play, the role of all the spells.
Mm-hmm.
Those we will re-examine all that stuff after the buildings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good idea because I feel like the meta is going to
Yeah.
change so much that a lot of the questions we're asking today may not be
Yeah.
necessarily relevant, right? For example, I had another
Yeah.
question about starting formations, so the ability to save
Yeah.
starting formations. And I remember last time I
Yeah.
asked you this question, you said because the building is coming on, the buildings can be randomized, so it's very difficult to actually balance the starting formation that works for everything. And I agree. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Yeah. Your starting information can be overlapping with the building setups. So
that's
yeah.
right. That's right. So it'd be
Yeah.
a programming
Yeah.
challenge. Um,
Yeah. Well, not a programming challenge necessarily, but yeah, it's something like you probably want to save different uh, formations for different building setups, all that stuff.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I got another question on cars, but I feel like you're so focused on buildings. Maybe you have an answer.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
question is essentially, uh, now we're turning inwards. We're focusing on technologies. What are some new ideas for cards that will buff or debuff your armies? So some player, an example of that would be an improved or mass-produced Phantom Ray, because Phantom Ray has been getting some
Mm,
love recently in the meta.
mm,
Um,
mm.
what are some thoughts from your side about adding new cards into the play, if there's any?
Yeah, we definitely want to add more cards into the game, but for for the next patch, we mainly want to balance different cards. Like some cards has been too strong, some cards has been too weak. We want to balance the current card first. Then we will definitely want to add more new cards into the game.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, the next few questions surrounds the user interface and aesthetics. So you did mention in the past that skins are getting old,
Yeah,
and we are starting to see new skin like the Sakura skin trickling into the game. Uh, but
yeah,
what I'm really interested in is skins that
yeah,
has moving parts. So it's not just a color change, but it actually has
yeah.
meaningful, moving parts that changes the way that a unit looks and also moves. Do you know if that's being worked at the moment?
Yes, there are. Uh, I think we already made four very cool skins internally, which is needs to figure out those new skin also have new animation, new effects, and all kinds of new stuff to them. We have made four of them. We haven't found the right opportunity to release them yet.
Mhm.
We want it's not something you just have a look. We want to add some collectibles, maybe stuff to the skin so that you can also play with the skin a little bit. Like a skin, not just a skin. You can unlock loading screen papers through
Mhm.
that skin and stuff. All that stuff. Those are things we are still designing. So, but yes, we are making some very cool looking skins. Yes.
Nice. All right. Another quality of life improvement. So whenever there's tournament going on, I love to be in the game client and watch the game
Yeah.
and watch other people chat. Right now, the
Yeah.
translation feature, you have to click on every single line in order to get that translation. Would it be possible to
Yeah.
have an option to have auto translate turned on? So whenever somebody is chatting in a language not of my primary language, then it would just get translated automatically.
Um, right now we don't have plan for the auto translation. The
Mhm.
translation feature we actually have to pay for that.
Okay.
Uh,
It's an AI
and
driven
so
tool, right?
yeah. It's a feature provided by AWS, the Amazon.
Oh, the AWS.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So we well, there's two sides of that. We have
Mhm.
to pay for those translations, but it's not that much money. But the reason we are not adding an auto translation is for many languages, it is we want you to understand that someone is speaking a foreign language first,
Mhm.
and we want you to say that first, then click translation and understand the translation may not be accurate. Like this probably is not a problem for
Mhm.
English speaker, but for example, if you are a German speaker and
Mhm.
you are saying someone, if you only speaks German and you say
Mhm.
someone type something in English, we want you to say those English words first,
Mhm.
and then you can click the translation. So this way, because you are German, you probably know some English. So we want you know they are not speaking German to you. They are speaking English to you, and you should understand that because the auto translation may not be accurate. It's just a functionality to support you, but yeah, but I guess for English speaker, this probably an auto translation functionality probably is better. Maybe let me think about that. Maybe we can have an auto translation functionality. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be nice, but I do understand that this is part of
Yeah.
the cost for the operation. But that would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
it's less impactful because when I watch games, it's mostly just Chinese and English, and I do understand both, so it's not that impactful for me. But I do know some
Yeah.
friends that would love to watch tournament, who love to participate in these conversations, that they will definitely have a good experience
Yeah.
if they can understand.
Yeah, because sometimes the auto translation it's sometimes it's more confusing when it is
Sometimes, yeah, for
translated.
sure. It's not
Just-
100%
yeah,
accurate, especially
yeah,
with
yeah,
especially now we have so many different names for, let's say,
yeah, yeah,
units
yeah,
that players invented,
yeah,
and then when you
yeah,
translate,
yeah,
you'd be
yeah,
like, okay, what the heck is that, right? For example, um, the wraith in English we call them donuts, but in Chinese we
yeah,
call
yeah, yeah,
them plates.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it becomes a little weird when you do see a direct translation.
yeah, yeah, yeah. True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But I
one
do
last,
like people speak different language can like spectate the game together and the chat together. I do like that.
I think so. I mean, the one of the most important underlying benefits of an auto battler like Mechabellum is that you really don't have to, because there's almost no lag with players, that you get a lot of experience playing with people from cultures that isn't your own, right? So I think
Yeah, yeah,
whatever we can do to make that connection even tighter in the future could be a good big benefit. And even now, like with these
yeah,
tournaments, this season, I mean, a lot of season, because 501 and 201 is just a two very large player base. But last season, we have the conclusion from 301 coming representing, and we all watching it. We all enjoying the games, and I think that's just a big benefit of Mechabellum of being an internationally enjoyed platform.
yeah. Especially originally, I thought they're gonna be much more like competitive players from the 301 region. We do have a big chunk of our play base are from 301, so I I do think like we will see more like players from 301, 401, and 101 to like in the tournaments. Like I still remember there's this one Mic One tournaments where like there are different teams. That was a very fun tournament
I
to
think that
watch.
was the
Yeah.
first one, I believe, where they have countries of eliminations.
Yeah. They have like regions
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, all that stuff. It's a fun tournament, I think.
Oh, for sure. And I think they might bring them back in the future. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
That was a very fun tournament to watch. Um,
yeah,
all right. Well, I think that's all my questions for you for today. Let me just
yeah.
take a quick peek into the chat and see if there's anything else. But it doesn't look like there's anything
Yeah.
super urgent for now. Is there any final words that you like to say, Bearlike, before we move on to season 4?
Yeah, do. Well, I think I want to like answer community questions on a regular base, and whatever questions you have, just get it to Stoney, and Stoney can ask me all those questions in the podcast. and all that stuff. And I do enjoy like answer those questions, and I don't really mind like hard questions. And if there are too many, well, I probably can't answer it like in one session. But we eventually we will answer all your questions. Like if you have questions, just contact Stoney. He will like add your questions to the list, and I will answer them. And I do think communication with the community is very important. And uh, sometimes, if like I'm not always there to answer all the questions because there are a lot of I have a lot of responsibility. I have a company to run. I have the game balance design and all the stuff, and sometimes technical stuff needs my attention. All that stuff I have like 10 jobs. but I do think like be here answer community questions is very important. So basically, whatever question you want, just give it to Stoney, and he will ask them. And be it like hard questions, it's okay. I can take it. Whatever questions, just ask. I can take it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you for being open and available to answer this
Yeah.
question. And I think it is vitally important to maintain that connection with the community, especially for a game like Mechabellum, because we have balance updates every 2 weeks, and that is based on the experience of the community. So if you have a question or a burning question, you can always find me on Discord. You can ping me directly, or you can find me on YouTube. I do keep a big notebook of all the questions. So don't be afraid if there are questions that's already been asked before, because with new players coming in, I'm not afraid to just revisit some of the question. And sometimes because the game is changing, sometimes some of the older questions becomes more relevant, and that will be good for the community overall. So yeah, once again, thank you, Bearlike, for spending your time. I think our next episode, we'll have to see. I think I like to work the timing to the release of the buildings. We probably want to have a preview engine room chat just to have a bit more discussion before it's officially rolled out, and then there might be another one immediately after the rollout, because I feel like this is such a huge change to the way we play Mechabellum. But thank you for coming in today.
Yeah.
You've been extremely
Thank you.
insightful, and there was some great answers.
Yeah. Thank you for doing all this.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Engine Room Chat. And as always, there will be a transcript and a summary being posted on Reddit. And feel free to check that out. But for now, I am going to set you guys off to Nightcrawler. We're going to see what he's up to in the 2v2 tournament this week. So I'm going to send you guys over there. And thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys around.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bearlike.
Yeah. Bye bye, everybody.
See ya.